Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Real Talk. My name is Sid Fernandez, the host, and today the host of hosts with these wonderful young ladies to my left. I have the distinct pleasure of getting to introduce to you guys two brand new hosts to hosting brand new shows. It's a lot of hosts in one. So guys, listen, first and foremost, thank you guys so much for being here, and the fact that I get to join you guys on this is absolutely bonkers to me. So first and foremost, thank you. How's everyone doing today?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. How about yourself, Sue?
I'm doing all right.
You see how she did that to get the microphone earrings? She did that perfectly.
Yeah, I'm all right.
And Miss Corey?
Hello, welcome.
And shalom. So guys, listen, we know that we've gotten to know our members, we've gotten to know our directors, we've gotten to know the staff that's back here at NABOR, but now we get to the fun part, which they want to get to know you guys a little bit more. And listen, Shannon, you've really spearheaded a lot of the interviews and some of the events. You've gone and done Livingston Live. You have a podcast which you are co-hosting. You're known for an array of things.
I like the way you put that. Thank you so much.
Like
an array of things.
An array of things like sunshine.
An array of different words that people use to describe those things, yes.
We may not be able to use all those words in this time frame or before 10 o'clock
That's
p.m.
right.
But listen, it's a really cool cohesion amongst everybody here. Both of you guys have journalistic backgrounds, right? You've done videos with a countless of people here in Southwest Florida in real estate and out of it. Tell me a little bit about your journey coming into real estate and bringing your video know-how to our little world.
So I actually started in real estate as an agent myself with John R. Wood. And it did not work out for me in the market at the time. I think
To no fault of ours.
No, it was fantastic. That's right. They ushered me along the best they could, and this little chick just didn't fly. So it was, '08. It was a really tough time to be in real estate, and I couldn't afford it. I just couldn't afford to stay in it long term. That's all there was to it. So I went
Wait. You mean it costs to be a real estate agent?
Right? Yeah. People don't understand that.
They don't get that. They don't get that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a business that you have to keep going, and I understood that, and it just wasn't practical for me to stay in it, but I've always loved real estate and loved the community. And so then I started going into marketing and just met a lot of people here, and I've been really blessed to keep relationships with most of those people and blessed to get rid of some of them also. You're still here again. So guys, you've made the cut. That's right. And along the way, I built relationships with leadership. And cannabis is a very important topic for me. So I started educating on cannabis with leadership. That then gave me an entry into media. I was invited on the radio. Didn't want to do it, but because I didn't. I mean, that surprises people because I have such a loud mouth and all of that. And I know that.
You?
Loud
right?
mouth.
But I had
That's
always
a
been
first.
more like I
Write
had
that
done
down.
modeling and video stuff, but not on a large scale. My ex-husband was a director, and I was basically cheap labor for him. So it wasn't anything really glamorous. I didn't enjoy it. It's not something I wanted to pursue. But they invited me on the radio, and then invited me back. And I just kind of really clicked with the guys, and my personality worked. So I started doing that on a regular basis and hosting the Dave Elliott Show, which is a local show. Whenever Dave was gone, I didn't take over. Dave was still there. I didn't kill Dave or anything on my trunk. And then I started he produced a podcast for me, again on cannabis education, but that was kind of short-lived. We voted it in. And I worked with FGCU to write curriculum. I still work with them on their educational efforts. It's actually how you and I met, not because of cannabis, but because of veterans. We met at different veteran events, and I work with a lot of vets. So cannabis took me to media and learned a lot of lessons in radio, learned about podcasting, and really learned that I like to interview people. I'm really nosy, and I like to ask them questions, and interviewing, it gives you the opportunity to do that. It's a great excuse. So I've had a great time here at NABOR being able to do that.
I love the honesty. 'Cause I'm just nosy.
I am.
Just straight out nosy.
We have a statement in Spanish called "una vieja chismosa," which is just an old lady that just wants to be involved in everything and
Yeah.
know everything.
Oh, we have that
That's-
saying. It's called Gladys Kravitz from Bewitched.
That would
She's
be
the
Oh,
nosy
I need to
neighbor.
write this
Yeah.
down. That's a
Gladys
good one.
Kravitz.
That's an old school. I
But
like that.
but I don't watch them like Gladys. I'll just rush right in and ask the questions.
She's
what
not,
are you doing?
She doesn't beat around the bush. She's
Why are you doing
real
that?
direct. It's interesting how you mentioned that you came into real estate back in 2008 as a realtor, and again, no fault of John R. Woods, disclaimer at the bottom. Right? And obviously you have a flair. Like there's something about you, right? There's an aura. You very much personify yourself, which is dope. Now the young lady to your left.
Very introverted.
Left is the same thing. Funny, going through your bio, you had gotten into around the same time as well. Obviously the course of your guys' lives kind of went a little bit differently as you stuck to realty, but you had a flair of the dramatics too by the things that you did at a very weird time. So obviously, for those who don't know, Miss Sue Pinky Benson, if it's funny, before I even got to meet her in person, I was like, whose car is that? And I was like, that is awesome. I couldn't pull Pink. It's like, come on, I was like, what is, that guy went and probably lost his car or something like that. But you went and did things like foreclosure homes in an RV, if I read properly.
Yeah, back in the day.
And then a minivan with all these.
Oh my, well, it's kind of, I've been in real estate for nearly 15 years, and half of my business was, because I've been here now 7 years, so half of it was done up in the Tampa Bay area, and I was in a very rural area. And, it was during the recession. So when I went and got my license, like, who was getting their real estate license during the recession? My mom looked at me and she goes, girl, what are you, crazy? And I was like, well, let's calm down. We'll go back up. And it did, but I was selling $30,000 crap shacks and splitting it with a partner. So, I was lucky if I was making $200 by the time the deal closed, because they were short sales, and short sales is an oxymoron. It means 15 to 30 months later, you'll get paid. I literally did get pregnant, have a child, and then the short sale that I had been working on finally closed. That's how crazy the short sale system was. So, so I was getting into my marketing groove, because my background was actually in broadcast journalism, which I call my BC life, before children. Then as I got into it, I come into it and I'm like, okay, how do I separate myself? Because there were so many Sues in my office. I truly believe that every Susan out there has to get their real estate license. I think it's part of the code. If you're a Susan, get your real estate license. And there were so many Sues in the office that I was like, how do I separate myself? So I came up with the idea of, I had a partner, Shauna, at the time, so we were pink and green. We were kind of going off of that. But during the recession, I'm reading all these magazines, these Florida real estate magazines that are coming in the mail. And there was this woman out in Vegas who was doing a foreclosure tour. And I'm like, I could do that. So I borrowed my brother's RV. I made him drive it, of course, because I'm not driving that thing. And he's driving us all over town doing this foreclosure tour. And you know what the funniest thing was? People got off the tour and they're like, well, I'm not too happy with the tour. And I said, oh, really? Well, what's wrong with it? And they said, well, I wanted to know why they got foreclosed on. Seriously? Like they wanted the story. They wanted to know what, like I was doing a history tour or
Like
something.
a Hollywood tour.
This is not Hollywood bus tours, basically.
Do you want to buy a house? Oh no, we got a house. I just was here for the tour. I'm like, for the love of God. So I did that. Then I had a minivan. Oh, that was an awful car, but I had a minivan and it was covered because I read an article about taking your listings and putting them as magnets on your car so that people could just peel them and go from any location. I must have left tons of those all over town because they must have just flown off when I was driving down the road.
How many people bought a house from a magnet that actually stuck to their car but that fell off yours?
Right, exactly.
I'd love to know that.
Take that
If you bought a house in Spring Hill in 08, 09 and it was from a magnet, I'm your girl.
See, now I think it's funny that your son is ashamed of your pink Beetle that Sid was talking about. But
yes.
I've never heard about this minivan with these horrible magnets on it before. That sounds much worse.
And the minivan wasn't even pink, okay? Like, it was just a standard color.
Like a brown minivan.
Like a khaki color, right? Like, it was the Mom-mobile was what it was.
I think we've all had that.
Yeah, so I should ask my teenage son if he would have enjoyed driving that more than the pink Beetle. But the pink Beetle is rare. It is like one of 3,000 created in the country for breast cancer awareness. So shout out to Volkswagen. Got it through social media, mind you. Yeah.
All right.
See, I can just give you all kinds of fun facts.
So wait a minute, I want to step in here.
Please.
So speaking of fun facts, Sid, Sir Host, give us a fun fact about you. Something none of us know about you.
Holy cow, about me.
Yep. Should I start the Jeopardy music?
Holy cow. No, you just caught me completely off guard.
I know.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a really boring one at first.
Okay.
We're going to circle back around and give you a fun one as my brain actually
Perfect.
clicks back on. So
Perfect.
I've been to 23 countries in my life, right, in a very
Right.
short time period. Obviously due to your taxpayer dollars, so thank you guys so much for paying. Unless
Thank
there's a
you for
lane
your
that we don't know
service.
about. During my time in the service and obviously travels outside of it, I think it's one of the best things that anybody can do. And listen, to get out of the country is tough, even if it's to get out of your local area. I forgot what that percentage was of people who were born in a specific area and how many of them actually leave. It's funny, when you go back home, you know the people who have not left that place, because it's just, like you said, the little chick never spread their wings. I feel the same way. Like that to me is the essence of getting to know yourself, is going somewhere different completely. I mean, you're talking, and you mentioned in your email about the fact that you're uncomfortable, like you're an introvert, but yet you have a pink beetle. You know what I'm saying? So it's funny how when people start to kind of let their wings go, how much fun they can have kind of getting to know themselves. Because I think you've created something that raises eyes, like, wow, who is this person? But there's an education factor behind it. And then for you, Shannon, the same thing. You're out there. Like, you talk about things that, who would have thought that we're talking about cannabis in Naples? That's
Not just medical cannabis, but hemp and everything
Absolutely.
it can do with green building and water purification and all of that. Yeah, it's an
Absolutely.
important topic that has been very stigmatized.
But again, I think it comes from things like this, where you get out and you learn something about yourself, go to places that you're not comfortable with, right? So obviously I went from a fun fact to going, expanding upon why it is I love the fact that I traveled. It's to get to know yourself just that much better, because how boring would it be if you knew yourself 10%? You get what I'm saying? So great question, Corey, but I'm gonna come up with an even better one later.
Okay.
But and it's funny how you guys talked about two different things, right? I feel like you're a bigger innovator when it comes to bringing certain topics that people did not want to talk about. And then you talked about the brands, and funny enough, your shows are kind of crisscross in that sense, right?
Right.
So you're bringing the oh my God, it's branding. Oh my, please give me the show now, because I'm gonna fumble my words now. It's okay.
We're going to call it Behind the Brand.
There it is. You see?
Yeah, because branding is everything, I think. And when you see Pinky and you see her in her car and in her pink hair and everything else, you wonder, who is that person? Who is the real person? You know, you see the realtor, you see the social media queen, you see the educator, but for me to really hear her story, like she said, people want to know the story. They want to know the story behind the brand. Why did you start it? Why do you love doing this? Why is this dedicated to your family? You know, that is what I really love, is finding out why people love what they do.
I love the topic because I think people always try to associate themselves with a brand and consistency, right? Every big company, right? 1-800-588-2300-EMPIRE.
I was gonna say that's a carpet company.
You like that? It's a brand.
We all
But
know
you know what I'm
that.
saying? But you understand, like, that brand will always stick to me because it's a jingle, right? So in your case, Corey, you've been in the real estate industry for a good amount of time to have seen people come and go through John R. Wood.
Yeah.
Hell, even through Nabor. So how important have you seen it for those that have made a dedication to creating a brand in their life, and all of a sudden now their business just takes a whole different course? You've seen it. Can you talk to us and expand upon the success stories and branding from your point of view?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, I think so. August 1st, I celebrated 19 years in the business. So, yes, I started when I was 12. I know.
My goodness.
So, but absolutely, I mean, it's everything. I mean, once you get into that business, you are the marketing director, you are the janitor, you are everything. And of course, you associate yourself with a brokerage, because when you're just starting out, you don't have anything behind you. But once you start to grow a little bit, you need to kind of get yourself out there in another way, and branding is the way that you do that. So it's so important. So I am just over the moon excited to see what these two ladies to my right here can bring to Nabor and to our members. So I'm over the moon.
So, and getting into, and that's actually a really good statement. That was actually really well said there, Corey.
Wait, you sound surprised.
No. Like, that was it was just so well put together, like, honestly. And now
Thank you.
going over to the branding side, I think one of the biggest fears people have is, how do you have a brand and not come off as fake? Because I feel like you distance yourself. Maybe your brand is, it is yourself and you're trying to get closer to that person. But I think other people take on a brand and they struggle with that battle of who they are, who that brand is. For yourself, how do you keep those two connected, that you don't get exhausted from being distant from one of the two?
You mean like, how do I maintain being pink without being burnt out?
Yeah, like, how do you, exactly.
I think that you have to love what it is. Like, I think you have to love what that brand is going to be. A lot of real estate agents, especially the newbies, they come in and they're like, okay, you know, I'm with Remax, red, white, and blue balloon is gonna fly behind me, that's my brand. That is part of your brand, right? You have to embrace what you love. So for me, I do love the color pink. And I have embraced it across every look, like the pink hair, which is not here today, but it's not natural. I just want you to know. A lot of people are like, why is it
They're
your
gasping right now. What?
I know. So it will be coming back, but it's, summertime, have to go with the blonde. Anyway, so.
But the blondes aren't natural either.
I know.
Why is pink a big deal?
I don't know, but it seems to matter to people. But that being said, the pink car, the pink hair, that was at the, not the end of my branding, but it was more into my branding. I had started with giant hats, like I'm talking like derby style hats, like hats my brother didn't want to see me in public with hats, right? And that's where it started, and I started to wear a little bit of pink, but yes, I love the pink. But there's always things that you can do with your brand and yourself. So you have to look internally. So, maybe you love coffee. Maybe you're a coffee, connoisseur. And you could be the coffee connoisseur real estate agent. And you could go around town rating all the different coffee shops. And you could say, what do you like in your coffee? People will gravitate towards that because they like coffee. Oh, you don't have to share the skeletons in your closet to be authentic, which a lot of people think, oh, I need to tell you all my medical updates. No, thank you.
I feel like that's a personal attack on me. I'm sitting right here.
It was. Now that you guys have a competing,
Right?
I guess competing shows. Now that the gloves are off.
Yeah, really.
Can I tell you just very quickly, and Wade will probably edit this out too, but we are getting ready to drop a new episode of the SOB podcast that I do with my son. And in one of the episodes, it is called The Fake Nemesis. And you actually have been a fake nemesis of mine that has helped me be better, because we do a lot of the same things in media and just publicly. And because you are a friend of mine, and so I can keep it kind of separate. You've always been great to me, but I have to hate you secretly to make myself better.
I feel like there's like the Michael Jordan, the
Exactly.
boys thing where it's like, I just took that
Yes.
personally and I just dropped 50. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it felt like.
But we talk exactly about that, and I would never have told you, because now I have to get a new fake nemesis, but my son outed me anyway, so I had to come clean with that. Otherwise, I would have just gone on secretly hating you, in an ironic way, still loving you as a friend.
You know what? But I think we use hate in the wrong way, because at the end of the day, I think the deepest amount of respect we can have for someone that's within our circle as well as in the same industry as us is holding ourselves to a high standard because they're doing it. So that they can elevate the
Yes.
other person, because that's the best way. Listen, it's a dog-eat-dog world, we all know it. But some people try to go with the attacks, try to rip your signs off. That should be a segment. See, what's the worst thing that's happened to a for sale sign that's out there? But I like that conversation because it's an important one to have. And even behind the brands, I think it's a topic that can be discussed even with multiple brands on one. Like, hey, you guys are competing in this market together. Mm-hmm. How do you guys do it and still loving one another or still being cool with one another and not doing nasty things? Right. I do like that topic a lot.
I think it comes really down to kind of what you said, that I'm trying to make myself better. That doesn't prevent you from doing well too. So as long as you keep that in mind, I don't need to be better than you. I'm trying to be better than me, and I'm using you to do that. Does that make sense?
You're competing with
I
yourself.
I oddly feel honored, but then use the same. It's like this weird
Yeah.
feeling, right?
I'll buy you lunch and you'll get over it.
There we go. As long as there's
We'll
a
go
Cuban
back to
coffee
being
with it.
friends.
So it's funny. So everybody this way are not Napolites, right? Or Napoleons. I don't know what they call them.
Neapolitans.
Neapolitans? That just feels like you're
Neapolitans.
tricolored.
It's
It
like
just
ice
feels weird.
cream.
I know.
Neapolitans. Well, I'm cold-hearted, so I guess that works. Just kidding, I'm not. So Corey's the only one that's actually from Naples, born and raised in Naples. Like that weird leper thing that people have going
Gotta
every
take
time I
Been
meet
here
someone.
my whole life. Yes.
I know, right? So
Yes.
tell us something that was really eye-opening for you guys when you guys made the trek down to Naples, because you're from Kansas City, and I cannot remember where you're
Clearwater Beach.
Clearwater Beach. So what was eye-opening for you guys when you first got to Naples? We'll start with you, Sue, because you just spoke last, and I'm your nemesis.
I know. Now he's going to try to keep me down.
You know what? I think honestly, I'm going to do it from a real estate standpoint, because I was selling real estate in another part of Florida.
Correct.
And talking about how you traveled the country or traveled the world and got a better perspective of things. Honestly, that's kind of what happened to me when I came here, because I had been selling real estate. Oh, I'm an expert. I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for 7 years. I'm good to go, right? Mm-hmm. And then I came here and I go to a class and they said, oh, Naples has their own contracts. And I'm like, say, what now? What? What do you mean? Like there are 67 counties in Florida and we are the ones with our own contract? Like that threw me for a whole loop and understanding that in the real estate realm. Then I will say, on a personal side note, I did not realize how bad the driving is here. So that was rough. That was rough. We were teaching my son over the weekend, and we had a guy going down the wrong way on one of those circle things.
Roundabout.
He was coming at us, so we're like, whoa, stop.
Looking like a DJ going the opposite
no
direction,
clue.
right?
He's
Had
done
no clue.
videos on how to use the roundabout even.
No,
Neighbor
he had
has
no-
put
he had no
videos
idea.
out.
Yeah, he had no idea what he was doing. He was going wrong way.
Probably European.
Yeah. So, so that being said, those
Cut
are
that
the
way.
two big things. Like, you know, real estate, having their own contracts here. Also, I would say the mentality of buyers and sellers here. It is very much a luxury mindset, not necessarily in price point, but mindset. The buyers don't have to buy. They're here for a second, third, fourth home. It could be 200,000, it could be 2.2 million. It doesn't matter to them. They don't have to buy. Sellers, same thing. They don't have to sell, but if they can get the price that they want, well, then okay, I'll sell. But if not, I can hold on to it and pay the taxes and all that good stuff. So it's a different mindset coming from a place in which, you know, relocation was key. They were moving there for a specific reason, like they had a new job or something to that effect.
Now, what about like the nightlife, or rather aside the industry, what are
I'm sorry,
the big...
there's nightlife here?
Yeah, it's at 6, right?
Oh,
Closes at 6. But honestly, like the difference in people, obviously the mindset within the industry obviously is different, because I do business in Miami as well, and the mindsets are two completely different places, right? But as the people, like the essence of where you're from, again, you said Clearwater compared to Naples, what are the biggest differences that you see?
Oh gosh, I think that there is definitely a little bit of, I'll just say it, there's an age difference. There's just an age difference. And it's just a different vibe. They're a little more conservative here. So when a pink-haired girl is walking through Publix, they kind of think like, oh my gosh, what has she done to herself, you know? And I'm like, I do have a brain, I do function, everything comes together nicely, but you know, I think that was kind of a little bit of a hiccup for me. What about you, Shannon? Was that a little bit of a hiccup for you?
Like when I have my blue hair in?
Yeah?
No.
Wow, she's like, yeah, I get it.
Because were you finished with that topic? Because, and we'll segue into my answer of what I really learned about Naples when I moved here. I learned that fundraising is a whole industry here, and that it's like a little circle, and then there's the business circle, and there's the way that intersects. And so I was very fortunate to be introduced to that and some really heavy hitters early on. And so I think that I had the advantage of kind of working and paying my dues through fundraising and different business stuff. And people got to know me through established people, whereas you came in, you know, just kind of unknown. You're known now, like you've done it. So I, you know, I did have like just this huge awakening of, wow, like there's not just huge money here, but how generous people are, because it's not just the big donors. You know, I go to these events and sometimes I go to the gala and sometimes I'm stuffing the bag. And sometimes I'm, you know, cleaning up or setting up or whatever. There's always a place to pitch in. And I know that, you know, you're the same, and we just have so much generosity here that I think it's become a mindset because it is an industry. And so that to me was really eye-opening. That and it was a great way for me to raise my son here, to show him that, because you know I always preach about your commitment to community, but for him to actually have so many opportunities to do that, and sometimes with me at different events, has really been rewarding.
That's probably one of the biggest eye-opening experiences that I had. I mean, being from Miami, it's no knock to anybody from Miami, but it's very materialistic. So what you get what you see is never what you get. And I feel like in Naples, though, you still get some people that are obviously quite fake, and they try to put this persona on. What I've gotten to realize is people are really open about who they are, what they love to do, what really drives them. And I actually appreciate that more, because you have to like dig so deeply in other places. And here it's, you know what I'm saying? You gotta like get that shovel out, maybe the mini shovel, like get a pick. And here it's just a lot more wide open. And that's definitely something that I've loved about Naples since moving here in 18. Excuse me. And I've always found an appreciation and a respect level to you for being that person, because I've seen you always smile, but I've seen you crack on like hard on something. I was like, oh my Lord.
They deserved it, right?
And I will back that up, that yes, they deserved it. So
Because I would like to say that yeah.
all over the place, that's the whole purpose.
Yeah.
But
So I have a show on innovation. No.
Yeah, that's gonna be the next thing.
I try to have a sense of justice, and so which I know it is not always my duty, trying to get over that, but if I was harsh with somebody, I would hope that it was because I was trying to right a wrong, that they were acting out in a way, probably bullying someone. I don't like that.
The reason I dug deeper into it is because branding, one of the biggest points on branding is making sure that you stick. It's the discipline behind it.
It
The
is.
discipline behind the brand, the discipline behind the person, holding people to a higher standard, I think is a failure on us. I think one of the reasons why we are at a place where we are in society that's not just in Naples but everywhere is because we don't hold each other like that. We are so deathly afraid of going up to someone and saying, that sucked. Like, it's okay. We can do better. Let's do it together. And that's something that I really do appreciate. And I think it's very imperative with branding. And that segue now goes into what Sue is bringing, which is a very, listen,
Now it's your
you
turn.
have the, you have the, no, hold on. The brand is a ginormous thing, but innovation, I think, is the beginning point before you can build a brand. You have to innovate in whatever industry in which you're in. And that's what you bring. Your connections and your ability to have networked within the stages and the speaking worlds that you have created for yourself allows for innovation to happen. You know, branding is one thing, but what you're going to be covering are people who started from the ground level, meaning they had that day where they were slamming their head against the wall and said, oh my God, this is it. So how excited are you to bring that side of it to Nabor?
I have to say I'm pretty excited. Like, you know, I like to say that I'm the OG in real estate when it comes to video, especially as a woman. There were not a lot of women, because I started doing video more than 10 years ago. So, I mean, now everybody's like, pandemic happens and everybody, oh, I gotta do video, I gotta learn video. And they haven't. So I was an innovator using video at the very beginning stages, which was what allowed me to get out and get on stage and start teaching other real estate agents how to use social media, how to use video, how to incorporate those two things. And then by being on stage and going to these conferences, which everybody kind of goes, why do I need to go to a conference? You need to go to a conference. Like, you need to go out and see what's new in the industry. Just because it has always worked doesn't mean that it will always work, you know? And that's where we as real estate agents get stuck. Well, my mailers always worked. Well, they might have, but they might not always work. So we have to find other ways to reinvent ourselves. So a lot of the people that I'm going to be bringing in to talk to, a lot of them may be Zoom because they're all over the country, but they are people like Katie Lance, who is a pioneer in teaching real estate agents how to use social media to grow their business. She's phenomenal. She has great tips on that. She was one of my first mentors in the business. In fact, like, she was the one that said video 10 years ago. And I was like, video? I could do that. So, you know, then I'm going to bring in people like, you know, Karen Carr, who wrote the book literally for YouTube for real estate agents, and talking about what we need to be doing on YouTube to continue our business. So these are innovators. BombBomb. Do you know what BombBomb is? A lot of people don't know what BombBomb is. It changed my business. And, you know, Boomtown, which is, you know, a database website. And all these are innovators. These are things that we should be using as our tools in real estate. And yet, what do we bring out? The notebook, the pen. Okay, let's get going. And it's like, no, we're, you know, that works for a little bit, but we have to look beyond what has worked into what will be working down the road.
I couldn't agree more. And BombBomb's not something you use on a plane, by the way. It's probably not best. Put that away. But you hit it on the nose as well. Because again, we're in an area that I think is finally, it's starting to catch up, right? Mm-hmm. That medieval way of thinking and doing things had to change, because as the surrounding areas continue to grow and continue to advance how they're doing things and how they're innovating, I think it's a perfect time, because I think the match finally, or the wick was finally lit, and that's finally starting to move. So the timing for the show and what you're bringing, the content you're bringing, is perfect, because it's really necessary. See,
Sid gave it a thumbs up. We're good to go.
And you do have such national talent that you know, that you've worked with, that you're friends with. It's such a great resource, because we are behind in this town, unfortunately.
Yeah, there is more than
So,
Facebook to social
yeah.
media. There is Instagram,
Again,
there's
personal
LinkedIn. Personal attack. We're trying, Shannon. I'm bringing you to
I'm
the
saying
dark
nice
side.
things about all these
We're gonna have
big
a
names that you
personal
know, and you're
attack.
like, there's
Bing,
more than
bing.
Facebook.
No, I
I'm
was
trying
asking
to
you.
learn with you like 2 or 3 times, but I can't test our friendship anymore, so I'm
One
going
more
to give up for a
nemesis.
while. But back to your show, you do have such just such a resource there with everything that you're going to bring to us, because it's not just here's the person. Like you said, Karen Carr. Mm-hmm. I read that book. You gave me the book. I read it, and she actually does tell you the secrets, like step 1, step 2, here's how to do it yourself. And so people that are willing to share their information of
Yeah.
how they were successful, and I think that's one of the greatest things about you too. So being a conduit for this national talent is super important. Thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome, and I'm very excited to share it. You know, a lot of times real estate agents are, this is mine, I don't want to share it, I want to give up my secrets. That's not what the show's about. The shows are going to be about, we're going to unload these secrets. We are going to unbox them, and we're going to share the brand secrets. We're going to share the innovative secrets with you. We're going to do all of that, and then we're going to have Corey and Sid along with us for the ride.
I am.
As babysitters.
Oh, girl. If you can innovate how to put like a bottle in someone's mouth and still like do pre-approvals, let me know that works, because
There we go.
I have failed miserably. So as we wrap this up, I would like to start with Shannon first on this last thing. What would you like to say to the people, or what's a quick bio on the show?
I think I just want people to know the people behind the brand, because we all do business with people that we know, like, and trust. And so while this was really fun, you know, Nabor's goal, and my goal certainly, is to help people build their business, and we do that with each other.
I think it does start with us, and that's something we always forget about, because we're always trying to pawn it off on somebody else. So it's like, the mirror needs to be focused on us before anything can happen in our lives. So I dig it.
I think that, you know, real estate agents, particularly, we've got to move forward. We are in a time right now where things have shifted, and we have to be ready for what's coming if we want to continue to evolve and not dissolve in this industry.
Evolve and not dissolve.
You know how many syllables in this thing? Jesus, that was fire.
Integrate, don't disintegrate.
That's a lot.
Man, we just got Buddha. Like, Buddha just felt like right through my body. I like that. Corey, what about yourself with one of these shows, and even what's going on right now in Nabor? What's something that you want people to know, and the members and those that are watching these videos? What are things that you want them to know as we continue to build this video group?
You know, I think from my perspective, just finishing up as president last year, one of the things that we really wanted to focus on is that we are a new Nabor. We're bringing in new partnerships, we're bringing in new ideas. You know, this is not your father's Nabor. Not that there's anything wrong with your father's Nabor, but you know what I mean. I just think that we're going into a whole new avenue, and I'm super stoked, and you know, I'm ready for this crazy adventure wherever it goes.
Nabor just got a little bit of plastic surgery, baby. A little fill. Say what?
Well, you know.
But listen, I'm actually quite excited. The branding thing and the innovation thing, two things that have really become really big in my life these last 4 years since coming into real estate and coming into this world. So for myself, as a little bit of a nerd and someone who's watched your videos now that I know that
I've interviewed all three of you actually on Livingston Live.
And again, collaboration is obviously huge. I'm ecstatic to see you guys finally go into your elements and bring what it is that you love to do to the forefront of Nabor. So I know I speak for most of Nabor by saying that we are ecstatic to see what you guys finally have to provide. I mean that with all sincerity. So for those that are watching, guys, please make sure to check out this video. Make sure to check out the videos that are coming in the future with these two ladies and the lady all the way at the end, because she's still bringing all that fun with the staff and all the directors and just fun at all the different events. And for those that have interest in maybe being a part of the video group in the future, that's terminology correctly. Come send us a message, guys. And if there's something you want to learn about at Nabor or in Naples or anything, please drop us a message. We'd love to just share ideas that come from you and from us. So from everybody at this table at Real Talk, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, take care, be good, and be good to one another. Take care, guys.
Thank you.